That night was one of the most confusing yet intense nights of my life. It was a quiet Friday evening, and I lay in bed, staring at the faint patterns of moonlight on the ceiling. My thoughts were restless, mostly about how lonely I felt. My husband, Henry, was away on a business trip for 2 months, and I hadn't seen him in 3 weeks. The stillness of the night was broken by the soft creak of my bedroom door. I sat up slightly, squinting toward the faint figure standing in the doorway. It was Alex, my 19-year-old son. His broad shoulders were outlined by the dim light from the hallway. He hesitated for a moment, gripping the door frame as if it was the only thing holding him steady. "Mom," he said softly, his voice hesitant. I rubbed my eyes, instantly concerned. "Alex, what's wrong?" He didn't respond immediately. Instead, he stood frozen, his shadow stretching across the room. Finally, he stepped inside, his bare feet making soft thuds on the carpet. There was something about the way he moved, hesitant, almost afraid, that made the air in the room feel heavier. "I couldn't sleep," he said quietly. I glanced at the clock. It was well past 2 in the morning. Alex wasn't the type to wake me unless something was really bothering him. I motioned for him to come closer. "What's going on?" He sat on the edge of the bed, his posture stiff and his hands clasped tightly in his lap. I waited for him to speak, but he kept staring at the floor, radiating tension. "Alex, you can talk to me," I said gently. "Whatever it is, I'm here." He let out a shaky breath and began fidgeting with the hem of his t-shirt. "It's hard to explain," he said finally. "I've been feeling different, and I don't know what to do about it." My heart tightened as I leaned forward. "Different how?" He looked at me then, his eyes searching mine with an intensity I wasn't prepared for. "It's about someone," he said. "Someone I've been thinking about a lot. Someone you're not going to expect." Relief briefly flickered through me. Maybe this was about a girl at school. Alex had always been shy about his feelings. "Who is it?" I asked with a reassuring smile. "It's not someone from school," he said, shaking his head quickly. "Then who?" I pressed gently. He took a deep breath, his voice trembling. "It's you, Mom. It's always been you." The words hit me like a tidal wave, pulling the air from my lungs. For a moment, I couldn't speak. I couldn't think. "Alex," I finally managed, my voice faltering. "What are you saying?" He stood abruptly and began pacing the room, running his hands through his hair as if trying to physically pull the words from his mind. "I know how it sounds," he said quickly. "I know it's wrong, but I can't help it. I've tried. I've tried for so long to push it away, but it's always there." I stared at him, my heart pounding. "Alex, this isn't—" "Don't tell me it's not real," he interrupted, his voice breaking. "You know what I feel? I've never felt this way about anyone else. It's not some stupid crush. It's deeper than that." Tears stung my eyes as I tried to process what he was saying. "Alex, you're confused. These feelings, they'll pass. You're going through a lot right now, and—" "I'm not confused," he shouted, his voice raw with emotion. "You're the only one who's ever understood me, the only one who's made me feel like I'm worth something. How can that not be love?" I struggled to find the right words, knowing how fragile this moment was. I reached out, placing a hand on his arm. "Alex, these feelings aren't love. They're something else, and they will pass. I promise. What if they don't?" he whispered, his voice trembling. My throat tightened, and for a moment, I couldn't speak. I didn't have the answers he was searching for. All I could do was hold on to the hope that time would bring clarity. "You're not alone in this," I said finally, my voice steady but resolute. "We'll get through this together." He looked at me, his eyes filled with a vulnerability that broke my heart. I don't want to lose you, Mom. I can't lose you. You won't, I said firmly. No matter what, I'll always be here for you. I invited him to stay in my room that night, thinking it would comfort him. As I slid back under the sheets, I motioned for him to join me. He nodded and lay down beside me. I felt his presence next to me, and though I tried to focus on reassuring him, a strange, unfamiliar feeling stirred within me. I pushed it aside, telling myself it was nothing. "Good night, sweetie," I said softly. He smiled at me. "Good night, Mom." The silence that followed was heavy but not unbearable. Yet, deep down, I knew this was only the beginning.